Okay, so back with another video, and finally I am checking in from outside because the lockdown has been eased and we are finally allowed to actually stay outside, even if we are not doing any shopping or if we are not doing any exercise. Excuse the weird angle. I have packed my whole photography video gear and I was so proud that I managed to pack everything inside my bag except for the quick release plate, so I couldn't mount my camera on the tripod. So I have actually Jimmy rigged this weird setup, so yeah, that's the reason for that. So I figured I would take this opportunity to evaluate the things I have learned, the things I have experienced in the 1 month or 2 months. I have honestly lost count. So yeah, let's go ahead and do that. First, I wanted to touch upon this whole hustle culture. Before the lockdown, we have been living in this whole world of hustling and grinding where the more you did, the better praise you received. And I have been guilty of that. I also tried to do as much as it was humanly possible each day, get up at 6, go to the gym, crush it, go to work, crush it, grind and grind and grind and feel appreciated for it, except I was never appreciated for it, not even intrinsically. It looks like those days are finally over. The virus has finally killed off this grinding, hustling mentality. At least it did for me. I no longer feel the desire to do everything each day. I only do as much as I have to. I do some fun stuff and that's basically it. I no longer feel the need to crush everything. I just want to do as much as it is necessary and as much as I need to keep myself occupied and to be fulfilled. I stopped giving a shit about being productive, and guess what? In turn, I am actually more productive. I have managed to release a whole album. I didn't feel any pressure to do it. I just really wanted to put it out and I put it out. It felt really good. I have finally have time to actually do fun stuff because I no longer give a shit about being productive and achieving all these extrinsic goals that society almost enforces on people. Life has become much more slow-paced, which I am absolutely loving. People are friendlier, people are more patient. I have noticed the same on myself. Now I'm like, yeah, I don't care. Just take your time. I'm not rushing anywhere, which is kind of a luxury, I guess, these days. Maybe it's not going to be anymore, who knows? I also finally have my personal space wherever I go, so what is not to love? As an introvert, that's pretty much ideal for me. So yeah, it's almost like the world has turned from extrovert friendly into this introvert dream. My only issue with the whole situation is that I didn't choose this lifestyle. I couldn't go out and socialize. I couldn't go out and date. I couldn't go to the cinema. I don't have the choice not to live like this. And when you don't have a choice, it's suddenly less appealing than it would normally be. If I could choose to live like this on my own accord, it would be absolutely amazing. But because it is enforced upon me, it is suddenly less desirable. But I'm actually pretty optimistic in this regard. I expect that when this whole pandemic crisis ends, we will finally get to choose how we want to live our lives. When I was growing up, my mom always wanted to turn me into an extrovert, wanted me to live like an extrovert. I kind of disappointed her in that regard, but yeah, I think she finally gets it. We will finally be able to decide whether we want to work from home, whether we want to go into the office. I'll touch upon that later. Right, so in the previous lockdown video I mentioned that I was about to finish my cut. A few days after I released that video, I actually did finish my cut, and I decided to do a slight cut / maintenance at 2500 kilocalories, and I'm still eating like that. I have been maintaining that 85-ish, not really losing much. Considering the circumstances, I am perfectly fine just maintaining my weight. I mean, I could cut a few hundred calories, go back to 2200 or something like that, but there's not really a pressure. Nobody sees my body, so like, who gives a shit if I'm 85 or 80, or if I have abs or I don't have abs? It's not like anyone's going to tell the difference apart from me. I'm not worried about that. Being at home and having constant access to my own food, being able to eat and cook whatever I want, whenever I want, has been pretty much ideal. I am no longer exposed to junk food in the office. Normally we have these like biscuits put in these like really appealing little jars, and you can just eat whatever you want, however many you want. And it's been pretty tough some days to say no to that invitation from those biscuits, and also like people bringing their own amazing smelling food. But now that I'm at home and I'm surrounded by my own food, which is pretty much clean AF, diet has been going super easily. Lately I've been having 8 French toast for breakfast, chicken couscous for lunch, that has not changed, and I have found this amazing brownie recipe that I keep making for my afternoon snack. Loving it. And for dinner I have a burger with sweet fries. I have absolutely no complaints about my food selection. In between my meals I have started making my own close to 0 calorie jello. Diet is going amazing. So in my previous video I mentioned how I transitioned to doing a home workout using resistance bands, and I was doing really well, but I decided to get checked a bulge that I noticed on my lower abdomen. That bulge first popped up maybe in like February or January, but I didn't really put much thought into it. But now that there was this opportunity to have a video GP consult, I figured, yeah, I might as well get it checked, because I suspected that it would be a hernia, and indeed it is a hernia. I was flat out told not to exercise at all. I got a second opinion from another doctor. He told me the same thing: don't do anything strenuous activity. Don't do anything that involves your core, because if it gets strangulated, it becomes a life risk. I also discussed it with a medic student. She's going to be a doctor soon. She also said not to exercise. So 3 people telling me I basically have no choice. And I also figured that the whole point of exercising, at least for me, is about health. What's the point of putting my life at risk only to be more muscular? I can always put that muscle back, but you know, if something serious happens to me, it's not worth it, at least not for me. So no training for the foreseeable future. Realistically, I would say at least until the end of this year, because I will need to wait until the NHS resumes taking referrals, which will not be anytime soon. And even after that, I would need to get an appointment for surgery. So yeah, that's gonna take time, and then I need to recover. In the meantime, I've been power walking, so every day I walk 3 times 20-25 minutes just to burn off the calories. It's a pretty good form of activity, I would say. I do the exact same walk every day. It's a really interesting mental break from life. I can just think about stuff that I would not really have the chance to think about any other time. And interestingly, my legs actually do burn out quite a bit. One thing I noticed is that my calves are growing like crazy. I can feel it, I can see it, they are getting there. And the last thing I wanted to touch on is how I find working from home. Weirdly enough, I was never a fan of working from home. I was one of the last people to leave the office when the lockdown was announced. I was really against the idea of working from home. I mean, I was pro-choice in the sense that, sure, let's give people the opportunity to choose to work from home, but I never chose to work from home myself. As I was forced into it, I started to see the beauty of it, the things I mentioned previously. I am absolutely loving it. I do miss the office, I do miss the banter, I do miss the people. The office atmosphere for us has been amazing. It's like really chilled. chill place to work at. But professionally speaking, I feel like I'm doing a much better work from home. There are no distractions, as crazy that sounds. I would say the only downside is Zoom meetings. I still find them weird, but otherwise I am absolutely loving working from home. In fact, I proposed that after this ends, I would really like to work from home most of the time and only really go to the office when it's beneficial to be there physically. So some days I have back-to-back meetings and it would probably make sense for me to go into the office. It's literally in a walking distance from my home, so it's not about commuting. It's simply that I find to be doing a better job from home. I'd rather not go to the office for the sake of being there physically. And my workplace has responded positively to that. Without disrespecting the people who have died because of the pandemic, people who have lost their jobs because of the virus, I think overall this virus will benefit society in the long term. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Hit the like button if you like this video, and don't forget to subscribe and press the bell button. Press everything, do everything, follow me on Instagram, you know the drill. Anyway, stay safe, stay at home if you have to, maybe go outside and sit in a park if that's legal, and I will see you in the next video.